previous conflicts between Hamas and Israel have ended with mediation by outside powers, especially the United States of America and other West Asian powers who've said that it is important for peace to prevail. But what is happening at this moment is something that will make you question the diplomatic efforts that are underway. Now remember, the casualties in this incursion by Hamas have been almost unprecedented. This is for the first time that a militant faction of the Palestinians has managed to, in fact, enter into the state of Israel and inflict this kind of damage. Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel, and it also has a border with the Gaza Strip. Egypt in the past has repeatedly been called upon to act as the mediator, with Cairo really happy to add to its own diplomatic prestige. The Gulf Arab states, notably Qatar, could be interested in brokering peace. Turkey under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has sought warm ties with the state of Israel even as it keeps its contacts with Hamas, and the Turkey government and the nation has always backed the Palestinian cause for an independent nation. The composition of Netanyahu's coalition government, which includes extreme radical elements, has complicated the situation. Now, Israel is carrying out a relentless campaign of bombing Palestinian territories to exact revenge. And it is also in preparation for a ground offensive that is likely to result in many more casualties. However, there is a moment when Hamas will need to find a way out, and Israel will also need to negotiate for about the 130 to 150 Israeli captives who are in the custody of Hamas. The analysts say that the presence of Israeli civilian hostages is likely to encourage some kind of humanitarian type mediation rather than political mediation. Should a moment arise when diplomacy does become a possibility, then eyes will of course first turn to Egypt, which has traditionally played the role of a mediator through its discreet intelligence services. Now, Egypt, remember, has already said that it had warned the Israelis. It had tipped off the Israelis about a potential assault by Hamas, and the Israeli top intelligence simply did not respond to that. Qatar, which provides the Gaza Strip with crucial financial aid, could also have a role. Doha stated that it was too soon to start brokering talks on a potential prisoner exchange between Israel and Hamas after the Islamists had seized about 150 hostages. Egypt could also work in tandem with the Gulf powers as the landscape changes due to the US-backed Abraham Accords, which saw the UAE normalize ties with the State of Israel. The Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has spoken with the United Arab Emirates and has agreed to intensify discussions and diplomatic efforts to stop the military escalation. In this mix, of course, comes Turkey, with Erdogan always keen to shine on the global stage and to present a friendlier face to the world. The role of the regional kingpin, Saudi Arabia, remains hugely sensitive because there is a lot of anger inside Saudi Arabia because of this campaign of relentless bombings that Israel has carried out on the Palestinian territories. Some analysts have suggested that moves to normalize the kingdom's own relationship with Israel could have been one of the motivations for the attacks by Hamas, but what is quite abundantly clear is that the Abraham Accords, in the aftermath of this incursion by Hamas and in the aftermath of the Israeli response of relentless bombings of Palestinian territories, the Abraham Accords have all but failed. Now, the United States, which is, of course, a great power, which has huge amount of influence and leverage on Israel, and which at this moment is sending more and more weapons into the Israeli territories, into the Israeli hands, to be used on the Palestinians, has spoken very little on the prospects of a ceasefire. The Western powers, there is not one Western leader who has uttered a word about a ceasefire. And this is something that has come as a bit of a shock, because the West, of course, wants a bigger role in diplomacy. But what is being witnessed in this crisis that is unfolding in West Asia is that the West is conspicuous by its absence of making any statement calling for a ceasefire and for a peace process. The American Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, will be traveling to Jordan on a crisis trip. The kingdom has a peace treaty with Israel. On Tuesday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin had said that the Israel-Gaza conflict showed the failure of the American West Asia policy of backing the state of Israel in expanding its illegal settlements on Palestinian lands. Putin called for the creation of an independent, sovereign Palestinian state. And he said that this is an absolute necessity and this is something that is mandated by the United Nations. The China's Middle East envoy has said that Beijing is seeking to work with Egypt to help ease the Israel-Hamas war. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.